Is the credit crunch claiming yet another economic driver? Turns out with auto lease rates on the rise, people are getting out or even avoiding leases. Our Phil LeBeau takes us behind the wheel this morning. Good morning to you, Phil.
Hi, Melissa. You know, what's happened over the last 6 years is that as we've seen the end of 0% interest rates for people who want to come in and actually buy a car, more and more people have returned to looking at the option of leasing a car. In fact, look at how leasing has become more popular since 2004, 2005. Back in 2006, about 23% of the retail sales of people actually going into dealerships, they wound up actually leasing a vehicle. That's going to be up about 27% for 2007. But things are changing. And why are they changing? Well, in part because of the higher interest rates that are going out there and the credit crunch. More and more people are looking at whether or not leasing makes as much sense these days. In fact, lease trading operations, leasetrader.com is one of them, is reporting that they're seeing a real surge in the last couple of months of people who are saying, you know what? I signed up for this lease at X dollars. I just can't afford that anymore. In fact, look at the latest data from Lease Trader in terms of the number of people who are saying the lease is not the good way to go. 15% of the people who are trading out of their lease, who are getting out of their lease, have moved into smaller cars, sometimes at a much lower lease point, in part because look at the 36-month lease payments. It was $450 on average a month a year ago. Now it's $495, an increase of $45, and that's why a number of people are saying, I got to get out of my lease.
So we're noticing that people that transfer out of those leases, 15% of them actually go into a smaller vehicle. So we're seeing definitely a trend in people downsizing on the size of their vehicles.
We're a long ways from where we saw leasing as far as popularity back in the mid to late 90s. Remember, back then, it was not uncommon that almost a third of the vehicles, about 29% of the vehicles that were going out of showrooms were leased, and that's because auto interest rates were as high as they were. We saw an uptick as interest rates started moving higher, but now with this rate cut, Melissa, we are likely to see a little less interest in leasing and a little more interest in actually going out and buying a car.